I'm Kaizena, and this is the third milestone for my omnidirectional robot, and it's omnidirectional now. Since my last milestone, I've gotten rid of the code that controls the bot with the arrow keys, because that's not omnidirectional. And with the help of Max, a former student's code, I finally made it omnidirectional. The first thing I did was remap the analog stick so that instead of them being set on axes of 0 to 255, they're now set on -100 to 100, so the center position of the stick is at 0. That makes it easier to do trigonometry, which is needed to map out the position of the wheels, because they only move in, the motors turn only in one or the other direction. So in the code, I had to put in the equations that convert rectangular coordinates to polar coordinates. With those, after mapping the position, I mapped out the motion for the omnidirectional part with the max value of the analog stick, which is now 142, because it's the square root of 100 squared plus 100 squared, which is the radius of the axis the stick is on. So with those numbers and the speed at which the motors will turn, the motion of the robot could then be based off the position of the analog stick. Some difficulties I faced was that when I first got rid of the arrow key code and used the mapping function for the analog sticks, I just stuck it in with the rest of the if-else statements I had before, and it didn't move the robot at all. So when I finally used Max's code for help, I found that I needed trigonometry to make it work. But then one of his explanations for the position of the wheels I would have to use were really confusing, because he used a lot of thetas, angles, and equations and things. But I found out that it would be easier if I just saw the whole thing as a 360-degree circle, and each wheel is 120 degrees apart. And that helped a lot with the position of the wheels.